Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video I'm really excited to do. I'm going to be doing a get ready with me. I'm also going to be playing with some new makeup. A lot of times on Fridays when I do my trying new makeup video, it's a lot of my first impressions, first time using the products. But I'm going to be using all products today that I have tried at least once, some of them more than once. So I actually have a few thoughts that I can give, a little like mini reviews on some of these products, if you will. I'll still do my full reviews in a couple weeks here after I've really tested everything out, but some of these I still have my first thoughts that I want to share on them. So I have the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette. I have the new Hydro Grip Primer from Milk Makeup, a new concealer from Estee Lauder. I have lip glosses from Persona Cosmetics. So yeah, I'm excited to play with some of these products and let you guys know what I've been thinking about them as I've been testing them out. But why don't we go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my eyes. So I'm just gonna put my eyelid primer down. This is the Covergirl Lid Lock Up. I just mentioned this in yesterday's Makeup Monthly, but I have been loving on this eye primer once again. I have been filming with my new camera. I did get a new Canon G7X Mark II, so the last few videos that I've posted have been with the new camera, and that is what I'm filming with today. So hopefully everything goes well. I know some people are mentioning that the video seemed a little bit darker, or maybe the coloring like not the best yet, so I kind of fiddled with the settings a little bit more this morning. So it might just be a little bit before I get them absolutely perfect, and then honestly, like, I'm probably going to get to where they need to be now, and then we move in less than 2 weeks and then I'm gonna probably have to change everything again because I'm gonna have a bit of a different setup when we move. But just wanted to point that out, that you know, the next couple weeks here might be a little bit crazy just with the new camera and moving, new setup, all of that, but I still want to be posting and just trying to get the hang of the new camera. I'm really excited to film today's video with it since I no longer have to worry about it overheating. That's been making such a huge difference. The past two videos that I filmed, I feel like I'm just getting them done so quickly, and especially when I film these style of videos where I'm just like doing my makeup on camera, it can take me so long to film them because I would always have to be stopping and letting the camera cool down and all of that, and it's been super frustrating. So I am all kinds of excited for this, but did want to mention that. But once I do have my eyelid primer down, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette. So this palette is fairly newer. I'm like really late to the game getting on this one because I did receive this from Urban Decay and I was very excited to receive it, but I was working on my next palette countdown video, and really when I'm getting ready for that video, I'm only wearing those eyeshadow palettes, trying to try all the different shades, trying to get the different looks in there. So that one just went up, so I've finally been able to move on to the next batch of eyeshadow palettes. So if you haven't seen that video, I will link it down below. But I did try this one out for the first time yesterday. I am wearing it in my Makeup Monthly videos. Like I said, I'll have that one linked down below, and I really did like the look that I did in there. It's very neutral, but you know, I mostly used Reputation all over the lid, which is really pretty, but I played a little bit with this Angel Fire as well, and I used some of these mattes. So I know that there's a ton of reviews going up on this one, but I am going to include it in my next palette countdown video, and I'm just excited to see what I think about it. So I am going to go ahead and add some of Blur all over the lid here, and I'm just going to take the Moda Metallics Super Crease brush, and I'm going to lay that all over my eyelid and up to the brow bone. I mentioned in my review of that CoverGirl eye primer that it is a little bit more on the tacky side, so a lot of times, unless I'm working with like a glitter or something super shimmery, I will lay down a powder just to kind of help the shadows blend a little bit easier. But I really do like this eyelid primer. It's basically been the only one I've been using for my looks. I want to do kind of a halo eye, and I really do want to play with the shade Retro, which is this really pretty coral shade. I tried so hard not to use it the first time I was playing with this palette because my eyes just immediately go to it, but I'm like, you know what, that's the one I really want to play with. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to pick up the Sigma Firm blender. This is the E44, and coming into that shade Retro, I'm going to place this on the outer part of my eye and then also the inner part of my eye, and I'm also just going to blend it. I really love this brush for like these cut creases because it has this tip on it, so it's like you can place the shadow really precisely, but also at the same time you can blend it. So it's called the Firm Blender. Like, this is one of my favorite brushes. I think I only have one of these, and I should probably get another one because I feel like I'm constantly using like my Cinema Secrets brush cleaner to clean this because I just enjoy it so much. But like I said, so I did try this out yesterday and I really liked the look that I did with it. You know, it's very neutral, but it's very me. And I had a really good time with it. I noticed there was quite a bit of kick up in the pan with most of the shades, but I didn't notice a lot of fallout onto my face, which was good. I really liked the shade Reputation, the shimmer shade that I used. I thought that one was really beautiful. I did spray my brush with it because I noticed that without doing that, there wasn't a whole lot happening. So I'm just really adding this color to the inner and outer and then kind of blending it along the crease also. And then I'm going to put a gold shimmer right in the center. But I did notice that when I used Angel Fire, which is this one right here, this one didn't really do much. I was kind of surprised. I wet my brush, but I felt like I really had to like dig in there. And I just wanted a little bit of an accent color on the inner part of the eye and a little bit on the crease. So I didn't want to do much with it, which I'm glad about because I think if I would have wanted to put that one all over the lid, I would have been pretty disappointed. But that was the only one that I used yesterday. And I used Blur all over the lid. I used Boundaries on the crease, Blocked. Yeah, Blocked? Is that what that says? Bucked. Bucked on the crease as well, and a little bit of Endgame and Reputation and Angel Fire. So I used quite a bit yesterday in that first look, and I did film that for Instagram, so I will link that. I think it should be going up a little bit later today on my Instagram. The tutorial will be going up over there if you want to see how I got it, but I was really happy with it. I felt like the shades were going really well. I feel like this palette hasn't been the most well received because people are again saying that like it's boring or too neutral or things like that. But I mean, when I think about the original Naked palette and the majority of the Naked palettes, I mean, the name kind of speaks. That's kind of what I always thought of, like the Naked line. It's very neutral. It's very, you know what I'm saying? And you know, so even though this one is the Reloaded palette and you still have some of these fun pops in here, like this, you know, corally pink that I'm adding right now, I wouldn't expect this to be like a super colorful palette. I don't think that it would have made sense. And that's just my opinion, of course. Like, you know, everybody has their different opinions and whatnot, but since they were discontinuing the Naked palette, I feel like this is a good option for people who did love that Naked palette. You know, my girlfriends, I have several girlfriends who have completely gone through multiple Naked palettes. That's the palette that they use. That's the palette that they continue to repurchase. They hit pan on the majority of the shades. They buy a new palette. That's what they wear to their corporate jobs, etc. So I guess for me, I'm not surprised. And I really try to keep my girlfriends in mind when I think about makeup because they aren't, you know, avid YouTubers. And like I said, a lot of them work their corporate jobs where, you know, it's not really the best for them to show up with like bright green eyeshadow on every day and, you know, all of that and what they gravitate towards. And I know when I said something to them about, oh, did you see Urban Decay is discontinuing the Naked palette? There was a handful of them that were like, are you serious? I need to buy another one right away. Like, why are they doing that? What's going on? And I was like, well, they're coming out with this new one. It's called the Reloaded, you know, you know, I would check that one out, etc. So, I mean, I can see a lot of them still really gravitating towards this palette as well and still being able to do a lot of really nice neutral looks. But then you have, you know, just a few shades in here that, you know, you can kind of like spice it up for like a day to night look or something like that. So I don't know, to me, I don't get really fired up when I look at the Naked Reloaded palette because I feel like I get it and it makes sense. I will say that I wasn't really drawn to it myself to purchase it because I do have a lot of neutral palettes. I also really enjoy neutrals, so I wasn't necessarily like totally drawn to the palette. I am still very excited that I did receive it. I'm very grateful for it. I'm excited to be able to review it, put it in that palette review, do some tutorials with it, etc. But especially because, what are these, like the $54 now? I don't think I would have purchased it myself, just knowing my makeup collection and what was needed in there. But again, so far, just with the one look I've done and, you know, the one shadow I've put down so far, I think that it's pretty nice quality. As for the center of the lid, I'm going to use the shade Barely Baked, which is this gold one here, and I'm going to use a flat shader brush. This is the Real Techniques shading brush, and I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of a Fix Plus. So that's what I like to do with my shimmer shades. And I'm just going to pop that one right on the center of the lid here. This is a really beautiful yellow gold. I think that's applying really nicely with my damp brush. So I'm gonna do the same on the other eye, and then with my halo eyes, I just kind of come back and forth. Like I'll come in with a little bit more pink, then I'll come in probably with a little bit more gold, and I just kind of build up the shades until I get it to where I want it to be. But I love a halo eye. I think they're super quick, super easy, but I still think that they look like a lot of fun. So this is what the eyes are looking like right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take a makeup wipe and wipe away any of the fallout that I got down here before we start in on the face. So yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think that the Naked palette is going to be for everybody, but I also think that there's probably a pretty big market for it also. And so far I'm enjoying the quality. I mean, I definitely want to try out more of the shades. Just that one Angel Fire so far has been a bit of a disappointment, but everything else that I've tried has been pretty darn good. The price tag is pretty high, but you know, that also is Urban Decay. That's the price of their palettes, you know. But so far I've been having a pretty good time with the palette. Have you guys purchased this one, or what are you thinking about it? Okay, so I'm gonna move over to my face before I finish off the eyes, and I have some thoughts on these products that I'm going to be telling you about. So I'm going to use the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. So this is the new primer from Milk Makeup. It's supposed to be a gripping primer, but it's also supposed to be really good for hydration and like all day hydration. So it has a pump on it, which I do like. This was sent over to me from Milk Makeup, and I was super excited about it. So I'm just going to take a little pump there. I was really excited about this because I was planning to purchase it. I said it in a Will I Buy It video that I was really intrigued by it, and I was kind of trying to decide between this one and the new one from Ulla Hendrickson, and I was like, I feel like I only need one primer, but this one actually got sent to me, so I did purchase the Ulla Hendrickson one. I will have a haul coming up. I think I'm going to post it on Monday, so I will have a haul coming up, but I did decide to go ahead and get that one. I was curious about this one because I liked what it said about the gripping, and then I also liked what it said about the hydration because I am dry, so I was like, okay, that will be perfect. And I've tried it like 4 or 5, I've tried it a lot now. I've tried it multiple times, and when you apply it, like I can definitely feel that it's like sticky, you know, my face is, you know, a little bit on the tacky side. But what I've been noticing is my foundation does not go on nicely on top of this. And I was also testing out a new foundation for a while that at first I thought I really enjoyed, and then I matched it with this primer and I was like, ooh, maybe not so much. But then I noticed even my concealers were not looking good either, and I thought, okay, what's going on? So I used this primer with a few of like my favorite foundations, and I was like, I think it's the primer. My skin looks super dry when I use this primer and I pair a foundation or a concealer on top of it, and it's just the foundation does not sit right. I was watching Babs Beauty just yesterday, I think it was, and she was using the primer, and she said that she noticed people have been reviewing it and saying the foundation kind of pills up on the skin, and I guess that's what I would say mine is doing. Like it just looks super funky on my skin, and I'm not loving it. And she said in there, like, maybe you have to wait for it to really sink into the skin, like let it wait for like a minute. And I think that I have been doing that, but I haven't really been like counting, so that's why I'm just kind of sitting here right now chatting, because I'm trying to let it sink in. But I noticed that even after like all the times that I applied it, my skin just still felt sticky. Even after, you know, I put the foundation, like had all of my makeup done, and I mean, it would be like an hour later I'd touch my face and I would still feel sticky, and I don't normally have that when I do my foundation normally. And so the foundation that I'm going to use is actually the one that I tried in last week's Trying New Makeup video. This is from Wander Beauty. It's the Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. And when I tried it last week, I was like, my skin looks so good, like, oh my gosh. I even did a pinned comment of saying like, this held up really good. My skin looked so good all day. And then I tried it, like I wore it 2 more times with like my regular primers, and I was like, still everything's going really well. This is awesome. And then I started using it with the Milk Makeup, and I was like, what? Wait, what happened? I thought that I loved this foundation. Like I thought this was gonna be a new favorite. Then I wore it with one of my regular primers again, and I was like, I think it's the Milk Makeup primer. It just does not look good on me. So I'm just kind of trying to wait. Ooh, I might need to pull an extra light because it all of a sudden just got really dark. It's raining, all the snow is melting. I'm not mad at that, but I might have to go pull an extra light just so we can liven things up a little bit here. Okay, I added another light since it's now like full on raining out there. That's okay, at least it's not snow. And so that definitely gave me plenty of time to let that primer sink in. But once again, I mean, I've probably not been filming for about 10 minutes now, and because I had to go down to the basement and get the extra light, come and set it up, and my skin still feels tacky. So we're just gonna go ahead and see. We're gonna see how the foundation goes. But again, I'm gonna be using the Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Liquid Foundation. Really liking this one. It has kind of like the giant doe foot here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start to apply onto my skin, and we will see how we do. I'm really excited because I mentioned in Wednesday's Will I Buy It that when we move, I actually get to have 2 offices. The house that we're moving to doesn't have like a traditional office like this one does. So I'm gonna take 2 of the upstairs bedrooms that are right next to each other. So I'm gonna have a filming space, and so I can always have like my tripod set up, my light set up, etc. So I won't have to be like running to the basement every time, and every time I get done filming, tear everything down, put it all back up. I'm so excited about that, and today just kind of proved that to me. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna help me make some new, videos that I haven't really been able to do on my channel because I've always tried to do the setup thing. So I'm super stoked. So I'm gonna take my Ofra Perfecting Puff and blend this in. I also mentioned this in yesterday's Makeup Monthly video. I've really been liking this sponge. So I'm hoping maybe that did the trick with the primer, but we will see. Again, I feel like I'm not usually super quick. I'm usually multitasking even when I'm doing my makeup. Like I'm reading, or I'm, watching something on the computer or something along those lines. So I'm not like the quickest at applying my makeup. So I'm like, maybe I didn't let it sink in, really make sure that's what I do today, just to make sure I'm trying it all different ways and such. And I've tried it with different foundations too, not just this foundation. I've done my favorite foundations, my favorite concealers, etc. So I could really, make sure I was testing it out several different ways. But we'll just see what we think here. But for the foundation, still really liking this. I love the natural finish to it. It holds up so well. It has a really long wear time. I didn't notice anything funky, anything breaking up on me, settling into lines weird, anything like that. I thought my skin still looked good after 9-10 hours. One of the days that I was in Kansas City, I wore it for even longer than that because I put my makeup on at like 9, and I didn't take my makeup off until probably like 10 o'clock that night. I think this one looks so good. Okay, I'm gonna get close. So this is what my skin's looking like right now, and I don't think it looks too bad. A little bit of like dryness right here being emphasized, but not too much. But that's kind of what I notice, again, right away when I'm putting foundations on. It's not till it's like the end of getting all of my makeup done that I look closely and I'm like, okay, I feel like something's funky here. But so just so we can kind of compare if that happens again this time, this is what my skin looks like now. I think that it's looking pretty good. We will just continue on. So for concealer, I got this one sent over to me from Estee Lauder, and this is really interesting. It's the Double Wear Instant Fix Concealer. So the one side with the Hydra Prep, you have a little brush over here. I'm still trying to get used to the autofocus on this one. It's slower than the Sony. But it says that you're supposed to be able to prep skin for an instant bit of hydration. It's supposed to help smooth out any dry lines and help the concealer go on more smoothly. And then on the other side, you have the concealer. I have the shade 2W, which is light, medium, warm. The shades that they sent, I don't think like my perfect shade was in there, but this one is like the closest one. And then this is what the applicator looks like. It's kind of like this flat applicator style. So I'm going to, I haven't used the Hydra Prep side yet because I really haven't felt the urge to, but especially because I feel like with the primer my skin's not been looking as well, I'm going to use this and kind of dot this on my under eye area, kind of like I would a regular concealer. And I don't know how much or like how little I'm supposed to use, so then I'm just going to kind of go ahead and blend this out, and I'll try to see if that's been making a difference, because I have been using this concealer quite a bit also, both with the milk primer and without, because the first time I ever used it, it was without the milk primer, and I thought it was so good. And then I started using it with the milk primer, and I was like, not so good. So again, I really think the milk primer is kind of the one in all of this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and smooth that out on the under eyes. The thing that I noticed about the concealer when I put this on is that it's very, very lightweight. It has a very thin consistency, and a little bit goes a long way. I feel like I'm applying too much already, but a little bit does go a long way with this one. I felt like the coverage was really good too, because when I first applied it, since it was so thin, I was like, oh, I wonder what kind of coverage I'm gonna get with this one. But I actually thought that it was really nice also. Not quite as full coverage as sometimes I prefer or feel like I need, but I still feel like it was a nice medium coverage. And most of the times that I've been wearing it, I feel like it's been holding up really well. Again, I just feel like that Pur Milk Primer has been kind of changing up a few things here, but we're gonna go ahead and try it today and see how it looks after I get it all blended out. Alrighty, so this is what my under eyes are looking like. I don't have any powder down yet, but this is what it looks like. Like I said, I have been liking it. I like the coverage. I feel like it's nice and lightweight on my under eyes. It's not too like heavy of a concealer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set this with my Wet n Wild contouring palette that's in my March makeup Shop My Stash. Alrighty, so this is what the concealer is looking like when it's set. I think that it looks pretty good right now, so we'll see how it is once we wrap up. This one is $28. Like I said, every time I've used it, except with the milk primer, I've really, really liked it. So we'll see how I'm feeling as we get towards the end of the video. But so far so good on the Estee Lauder concealer. Use that same Wet n Wild contouring palette, and I'm going to contour here before I use, oh, it's on my skin. Oh boy. Okay. I'm just going to contour before I jump into a bronzer. So for bronzer, I'm going to use this one that I tried a couple weeks ago in a trying new makeup video. This is from Pur. This is the Bronzing Act Matte Bronzer in Light. So I'm going to take my Morphe R2 and bronze up the skin here. I started a little bit and then realized I had to change my memory cards. This camera came with 2 memory cards, but they're only 16 gigs, and I normally have a 64. So I'm used to a lot more room, so I'm going to have to grab another memory card for sure for these ones. But I'm just going to go ahead and bronze. This one is pretty light on the skin. I believe there's also the dark bronzer, and it's also a little bit more on the cool tone side. It reminds me a bit of the new one from Milani that I enjoy so much, that I also featured in my Makeup Monthly. That one I think is more on the cool tone side and a little bit lighter, so I can kind of get away with, like, you know, taking a more detailed brush and really contouring, and then taking a bigger brush and, you know, blending it out. For just a nice, like, natural look. I think that it's really pretty, so that's what this one is kind of reminding me of also. And so far so good. I've been really liking it. You know, again, I feel like it's very buildable. I feel like it's very blendable on the skin. It still looks really natural. So I've been really getting on with this Pur one also. I find myself just like reaching for it often. You know, I kind of have it set out to the side so I can remember, since, you know, I want to get my reviews ready and everything. But I still feel like I just want to reach for this one in general, because I think that it's really quite beautiful. Okay, I do not have a new blush, so I think I'm just going to do like blush and brows off camera, just because to speed it up. I know I'm getting pretty chatty in this one too. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll come back and we will finish off the eyes, face, and lips. Yes. Alrighty, so I am going to go ahead and finish off the eyes now. So just coming back into the palette, I'm first going to pick up the pinky shade in Retro, and I'm just using the Sigma E30, and I'm just going to sweep this on the lower lash line. I did add a little bit of brown liner to my waterline. I did CEO from Milk Makeup. So I'm just running that fully on the lower lash line. If you can hear Aries walking around, she is pacing away. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the Barely Baked. I'm just going to use the same brush here. I'm going to pop that kind of right in the center of the lower lash line also, just kind of mimicking what we did on the eyelid also. So lots of changes happening all at once, which kind of freaks me out, but you know, that's okay. It's also my birthday on the 23rd, so that's a change. I'll now be 32. When we were on vacation in Punta Cana, someone asked me how old I was, and I said 32. And then I was like, no, I'm not. I don't turn 32 for like another month. It's like, why did I do that to myself? That was just rude. Usually I go the other way. Usually I'm like, oh, 25. No biggie. Instead, I gave myself a birthday too soon. I don't really know why I did that. So no big birthday plans or anything. My best friend's birthday is the day before mine. I think we're probably going to go out on Friday night, and then I don't know if we'll do anything Saturday. We actually close the following Monday, so might just spend my birthday packing. Woo! 32 gonna be crazy. Alrighty, for my mascara, I'm gonna use the Covergirl Exhibitionist mascara. I tried this a couple weeks ago in a try new makeup video, really liked it. Still am really liking this mascara. I think that it's really nice. And I've noticed that I haven't been getting transfer on my bottom lashes. I have longer bottom lashes, so I can't wear any mascara down there because a lot of times I can get transfer, but I haven't been noticing it with this one. I think that this is really nice. It's actually more of a wet formula, but I do like the brush. It's kind of like that thicker brush. Reminds me a bit of like the Too Faced Better Than Sex. It also kind of reminds me of the ColourPop BFF mascara, but I feel like this one's been holding up pretty well. It gives some nice fullness to the lashes, some volume. Yeah, I think this one has been working pretty good. I don't know if I would classify it as a favorite, but it's like really close. So I want to give it a few more tries before I have my like full review on it, but I think that this one's looking pretty promising. And I'm not usually a fan of CoverGirl mascaras, so that's pretty exciting to me. So mascara is on, like I said. I'm really liking this one. I like the fullness, a little bit of length that it gives. So far so good on the mascara. I've really been liking it. So next up I have my highlights. So eyes are done. I'm gonna go ahead and do my highlight now. This one is also from Pur, so I was trying it out in that same video. This is the Afterglow highlighter. This is a really freaking nice highlighter. I'm just gonna use my Moda Metallics highlight brush. This one is so gorgeous, and look at that, like just a little bit, and I think that it's stunning. Again, this is another one that I find myself just like, I just keep reaching for it because I think that it is so beautiful, so easy to apply if you like that blinding highlight. I think that this one is so beautiful. I think that it shows a little bit of texture, but not too much, like not enough to deter me from using it. So I did just want to point that out though. Maybe if you struggle, you know, worse than I do. My other side, I typically have more texture over here, but just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Highlight the hair as well. Yes, girl, pretty highlights. That one is stunning. I've been noticing that every time I wear it in a video, I definitely get a lot of comments about my highlight. So it seems like you guys are really quite enjoying this one too. So the Pure Afterglow. Do not be sleeping on this highlight. That's gorgeous. I'm gonna go ahead and spray my face quick. I'm gonna use the Revlon Prep Set and Refresh that's in my March Shop to My Stash. Alright, and then I just need to finish it off with lips. So I really wanted to show you the new Persona lip glosses. These were sent to me from Persona Cosmetics, which I was so excited about. I really enjoy a lot from Persona. So when I mentioned these in the Will I Buy It video, I was like, yeah, I'll probably think about picking up one of the shades. I grabbed out Honey to test out, and she did send me all three, but I can't put Honey down at this moment. So I'm gonna use Honey again because it is such a gorgeous nude lip gloss. But first I am, because I do like to have a little something under a lip gloss, I'm just gonna go ahead and line and then fill in my lips with the Bite Beauty 020 lip liner. I also chose this for my March Shop to My Stash, and whoa, I did not realize how creamy this was gonna be. It's the wooden lip liner, but it's super creamy. It's super easy to apply into the lips. It's nice and long wearing. I've been really impressed with this one from Bite Beauty. And this color just so beautiful. Really liking this. I've sharpened it so many times. It's really getting down there. But then I'm gonna go ahead and top it with Honey from Persona Cosmetics. I'll show you the applicator. So they look really similar to, like, packaging wise, to the liquid lipsticks, and then the applicator kind of has that flat side on both edges. So this is what Honey looks like from Persona Cosmetics. Really liking this. I actually took this to Kansas City with me as well when I was meeting with Kelly Gooch and Ashley Clady, and Kelly had it too. We had the same shade and everything. Honey, we pulled it out of our clutches, and we kind of had a giggle at that moment because that was pretty funny. But I've been really impressed with it. I think that the color looks really nice. Again, this one is Honey. I think that it feels really good. It's not too sticky. It's not too goopy. It's not like the most lightweight lip gloss that I've ever tried, but I do like it. I don't think it does anything funky to my lips because was it last week that I was trying out the ColourPop So Juicy glosses, and they looked not great on my lips at all. This one is much better. I don't notice any sort of weirdness. I can wear them for a really long time also. I was wearing this when I ate some Oreos the other day, and they were double stuffed Oreos, and you know, I was dipping them in milk. I ate like 6 of them, and then I came back and I looked, and my lip gloss and lip liner combo, this exact same combo, still looked really darn good. Like I still had the gloss on my lips also. You know, a bit of it had faded, but not too much, and obviously it's lip gloss, it's super easy to reapply. So I'm really impressed with these so far. You can buy them individually or you can buy them as a set. So of course everything that I've tried will be linked down below, but other than that, that is everything. This is my look for today. So I was kind of giving my, you know, mini reviews, first thoughts on these products as I was going along, so I don't think that I need to do a wrap up because I kind of gave you all the info that I would give you right now. But you know, with everything that I'm trying out, I really want to come back and still be able to give my full thoughts, full reviews on everything. So I'll still be doing that for these products. But I figured since I have been trying these out at least once, if not, you know, several times for some of these products, I thought that I could give you my first thoughts on them. I do want to go ahead though and look at my skin. I think my under eye area is still just a little bit on the drier side, but you know, sometimes I just have dry under eyes anyways, so that could be it. A little bit of dryness over here on my forehead, again, like I was saying, but it definitely doesn't look as bad as it had been looking, because it was just like, I was kind of embarrassed when I would get up close to my skin. And I feel like this is looking much better. So maybe you do have to let that milk primer really sink in. I know for sure that I wasn't just applying primer and immediately priming foundation. I just usually just wait a little bit anyways, but maybe you do have to really let it sink in for several minutes. Like I said, I probably waited 10 minutes today before I put the foundation on, so maybe not everyone wants to do that. Maybe you don't want a finicky primer. You know, I'm not a fan of products, like I want to be able to use the majority of my makeup products the same way every time that I would go to use them. So I don't know if I'm going to love that, but I'll be curious to see how it holds up throughout the day. If I do start to notice any of that like pilling up after maybe a few hours, I am gonna have a pinned comment on this video, let you guys know how everything wore once again. So I'll definitely give an update on how my face is looking, of course, but I wanna start doing that on all of my trying new makeup videos. But other than that, I feel like everything is looking pretty good. The eye look, I mean, you know, I'm a pretty simple girl. I feel like this was really simple and easy to do, but I still really like it. And I think my skin is looking pretty nice right now with that foundation, with this beautiful highlight, and I love the lip combo. So you'll have to let me know about everything that I've been trying out. Have you been trying any of these products as well? Are you eyeing any of them? What do you think? Please do let me know. But as always, if you guys did enjoy this video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video.